Good morning to you once again. You are looking live. You see I-12 in the distance on our Elite Lake Sky Cam over in Walker. You can see the pond here and a little bit of breakage finally in some of the pesky clouds. We're going to get a little bit more sunshine as the day wears on. 76 degrees. Yeah, we definitely were off to a very fast start with our temperatures. We barely even cooled off overnight, only getting a low temperature of 69, well above where we should be this time of year. And yesterday's high, 85. Today's record, 88, set back in 2023. I don't think we're going to touch up to that record per se, but we're definitely going to give it a run for its money. More rain ahead, but you didn't need me to tell you that part of the equation. The weekend doesn't look like it's a total washout, but some of your outdoor plans might need to be tailored or even moved indoors depending on the timing. And then we'll talk about a few changes possibly in the forecast next week when we actually do get a real cold front to move through. As for right now, the radar relatively quiet. Couple of isolated, very light showers barely wetting the ground over to the east of I-55, that's outside of our viewing area, and over to the west of 49, also outside of our viewing area, but I expect the radar to fill in a little bit later on in the day. Meanwhile, we haven't seen anything severe or noisy like they have in the nation's midsection. From Omaha to Wichita down to Dallas, they have had several bouts of severe weather, which is not to say that we're not going to have our own chance here this weekend. We will, but it looks like it's going to be relatively low and limited. We've been talking about the setup for the past couple of days. A deepening, developing trough of low pressure out to the southwestern United States becomes closed, and then that's going to steer a couple of storms our way over Texas, over Louisiana, and we'll have all the ingredients. So that having been said, what kind of rain can we expect? Here comes the FOR6ECAST graph. Most of the day today is actually dry, so I would say you might be able to get out there and mow the lawn if you haven't done so. But then we'll get a couple of scattered showers late in the day. This is what the future radar could look like between 4 and 5 p.m. By the time we get to 7 p.m., that's it. And it looks like overnight tonight we're going to be relatively quiet. Now let's fast forward to Saturday. Saturday is not a washout. Saturday morning looks relatively quiet, but as we get to Saturday afternoon, now we start to fill in with a couple of scattered thunderstorms. Nothing strong to severe at this point, but as we get to Saturday night, and by the way, the models disagree on the timing, but the models do agree that we're going to get a broken line of strong showers and thunderstorms late Saturday night going into Sunday morning. That's what you see here on the graph, but I want to kick it back over to the European because the European model's been very consistent about this line of thunderstorms. There's where it will be around noon Saturday, and they show it getting into our wheelhouse around 6 p.m. Saturday. So they're suggesting that it happens more Saturday evening into Saturday night rather than overnight like the other models. So it looks like Saturday night's going to be our best chance for not only showers and storms, but the possibility of severe weather. Right now, we only have a level 1 marginal risk that's relatively low. Right now, I would say damaging winds. That's probably the biggest concern Saturday night. I did put in an isolated tornado, but the National Weather Service thinks that there is a 0 chance of tornadoes, so hopefully that will be the case right there. 2 to 3 inches everywhere that you see that red. Remember, that's over the next 7 days. You're not going to get it all in one fell swoop. Forecast for today, going to be a warm day, getting up to 86 degrees. There's your 40% chance in the afternoon. Not too bad. Again, tonight, we'll have an early shower early in the evening, but we're going right back down to 0. And in the 7-day, I would say Saturday night into Sunday is probably the best chance for rain. Then we still have a good chance on Monday, and then on Wednesday of next week, we'll get a cold front that comes to town, and it won't cool us down significantly, but will knock us back down to the 70s at the end of the 7-day.